Have you ever walked out into your garden, picked a tomato still warm from the sun, and thought that this is what food is supposed to taste like? Well, that's exactly where today's recipe starts. Fresh, homegrown tomatoes, peppers, and a whole lot of love. Now, I'm out here gathering the very best of our harvest to make one of my favorite pantry staples, and that is spaghetti sauce. And it's not just any sauce. This is the one we'll be canning so that it lasts through the fall and winter. It's rich, flavorful, and a true taste of summer in a jar. So stick around because I'll walk you step by step through my recipe, the canning process, and a few of my favorite tricks for making sure that your jars seal properly and your sauce turns out amazing every time. And trust me, you're gonna wanna stay until the end when we crack open a jar for a taste test. Now, I have not checked the Farmer's Almanac or anything, but I have the sneaking suspicion that we're going to be in for a long winter again. The date of this filming is August 30th, so we're at the tail end of summer. However, the tomatoes are already looking like they want to be done for the year, so I'm a little concerned about that. And for the last week here, it has been in the 40s every night. So it's been cold at night and it's been mid-range during the day, like in the 60s and 70s. It's been cooling down a lot lately. So I'm a little concerned about how the garden's gonna fare for going into fall. Usually we can be picking tomatoes into early October, but I don't think that that's gonna be the case this year, so we'll have to see. But one of the reasons why I'm thinking this is because, again, it's still August, and these are the potatoes. The potato plants are dying already. So we'll see how the fall plays out. Hopefully we can have a little bit of an extended season. So far this year has been a little rough because we had summer coming in late. It was cold all the way up through May. We didn't get the garden planted until the middle of June. Right now it's the end of August and we're doing okay, but all summer long, May, June, July, and the first part of August, the smoke was so thick from the Canadian wildfires that I was a little concerned about how the garden was actually going to fare. We're doing pretty good. Things are looking good, but it's wrapping up for the season already. So hopefully we can get a good harvest into the fall. We'll see how it goes. For this recipe, we're gonna need about 25 pounds of tomatoes. Now don't worry if you don't have quite this many, just scale it down and follow the same steps. We also need to gather our yellow onions, bell peppers, and some mild Anaheim peppers. We're also going to use dried herbs plus some garlic from the garden. As I finish weighing out tomatoes, I have a blanching pot on the stove that is heating up with water, and once it hits boiling, I can blanch the tomatoes and the skins will come right off. Now, while I do this, then Justin is peeling the fresh garlic and the younger kids are working on cutting the bell peppers and the Anaheim peppers and getting them ready to go. Now to start, we need to peel our tomatoes, and we're going to start with filling our blanching pot, or if you don't have one, you can just use a big pot and fill half with water and bring it to a boil. Now we're going to gently lower in the tomatoes for about 2 minutes until the skins start to split. And then we will transfer them to an ice bath, and this makes peeling a breeze. Now that we have our tomatoes peeled and diced and our peppers and onions diced and ready to go, we are going to get out the rest of our ingredients, which I use coconut aminos, Worcestershire sauce, coconut sugar, salt, minced garlic, dried oregano, dried basil, pepper flakes, bay leaves, and organic lemon juice. And now the fun part. So let's build the sauce. And first we're gonna start with our tomatoes. Something that we did this batch is we actually drained off most of the juice from the tomatoes, and we're hoping that this will help speed up the cook time. And then we're gonna put in all of our peppers. And then our onions. I love fresh onions straight from the garden. And then as you guys know from one of the last videos, that we grow our own garlic, and so this is garden fresh garlic. So we'll add the garlic. And then we are going to add our tomato paste. And if you can make tomato paste, obviously that is like the best choice, but I don't have any tomato paste from what we have made. I only made tomato sauce last time, so I actually have to buy the paste. And now we're gonna add our coconut sugar and our salt. Now we're going to add the tamari, or I actually prefer to use the coconut aminos, and I use this one right here. Then we're going to add our Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to add our oregano. And our basil. And then we're gonna add some crushed red pepper, which this doesn't really make it spicy at all. It just adds a little bit of flavor. Now, if you like it to have a little bit of spice to your sauce, you can add a little bit more, but I just do 1 teaspoon. I have done a few batches where I've done 2 teaspoons, and it just gives it a little bit of a kick. So if you like a little bit more heat, go ahead and add more. And now we're just going to mix it all up. This smells absolutely amazing. And of course, we don't want to forget our bay leaves. And now we're going to turn the temperature up. I like to run this between 300 and 350. So right around that 325 mark, and then I'll watch it for an hour, and then I'll adjust to see how it's doing, because I don't want to burn it, but at the same time I want to cook it a little bit on the faster side. So now we're going to cover it, and we will be back to check on it in a little bit. Now that it's been about an hour, we want to check on it and make sure that it's not cooking too fast. Now, we really don't want to rush the process too much, because this is where all the flavor happens. But at the same time, we did drain the sauce off of the tomatoes before starting, so it can cook faster. After about an hour, the vegetables should be starting to soften, so we can go ahead and take out some of our bay leaves, and we're going to start stick blending. One thing with a stick blender is that you can totally make the sauce any texture that you want. If you want it a little chunky, go ahead and make it chunky. If you want it completely smooth, go ahead and make it smooth. We personally like ours to be a little bit on the chunky side, so I'm just going to stick blend until there's just a few small chunks left. And now we're just going to cook it until it is the right consistency. As you can see here, since we drained the juice off the tomatoes first, it's already a little bit on the thicker side, and it's only been a little over an hour. So we will probably have to cook this down for just another hour or so. So we're going to check it about every 30 minutes. Now, while the sauce finishes, let's prep the canner. We're going to fill it with 3 quarts of water and with a splash of vinegar. Now, this helps prevent cloudy jars. Now that the sauce is the right texture for us, we're going to go ahead and add our lemon juice. Now, this recipe, you can also do a water bath canning method, and if you're going to do that, I would add a ½ cup of vinegar, but since I'm doing pressure canning, I'm not going to be adding that today. So now we're going to carefully ladle the hot sauce into jars, leaving about a ½ inch of headspace. I also like to use jars straight out of the dishwasher, so they're not only clean, but they're hot, so they're not going to shock my jars. Now we're gonna wipe the rims clean, and then we'll secure the lids and bands. Now, you can preserve this sauce with either a pressure canner or a water bath canner. With a weighted gauge pressure canner, we're gonna process quarts for 25 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure,
or if you're over 1,000 feet of sea level, then about 15 pounds of pressure. Now, if you're using a boiling water bath canner, then you'll process the quartz for about 40 minutes, and then you will also adjust for altitude. Now we're gonna listen for that gentle rattle or a rolling boil. It means everything is sealing up beautifully. And that's it. Rows of gorgeous garden fresh spaghetti sauce ready for the pantry. This will feed our family all winter long and is such a satisfying way to preserve the harvest. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. I share more homesteading, wholesome recipes, and natural living tips each week. Now, tell me in the comments what your favorite way to preserve tomatoes is. I would love to hear it. Now, thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. Until next time, keep it simple, keep it wholesome, and I'll see you in the next one.